Hey everyone! Thank you so much for joining today too. I'm sorry about the belated start. Thank you so much for joining in the chat. Pranav, Gilliam, Alice, hey, and Sion25. I think your handle looks very familiar too, but I feel like this is the first time I'm seeing your handle in my chat. But um, at least I think, oh no, Shlom. Is it Shlom25? Yeah. Welcome and thank you for joining. Hello, Mr. Peanut. Hello. Happy Friday. I am glad that we made it to the end of the week. If you were here on Wednesday, you can tell that the lighting is better today. Wednesday was very eerie. It was like very Halloween vibes. It's like dark and orange outside. We went out to run some errands that evening, and there was like a fine coating of ash on my car. But it's been getting better-ish. In that it's not completely dark anymore. So Pranav said it was like a scene from Harry Potter. Gilliam asks, did the orange carry into the night then? Yes, it did. It was quite eerie. Although I think it did get, like, the darkness started lifting a little bit around like 4 p.m. 4 or 5 p.m. Maybe 5 p.m. 6 p.m. Like there was like a tiny bit of light that came through around like the evening time. And yeah, I actually don't know if the sun's coming out today where I am. It's quite foggy and it's actually quite ashy today. So the air quality is even worse today. But yeah, so we've been staying inside. Um, but yeah, grateful to be able to stay inside. Um, yeah, Pranav says sun finally came out today. IROC driver says in San Jose it looks like a thick fog, but it's smoke. Yeah. So actually, where I am, it's usually pretty foggy. So I can't quite. I think it's like a mix of fog and ash, and I can't tell. But it's definitely like if I look out my window, I can definitely see like a fine layer of ash, and then, yeah, my car. I don't even know what my car looks like after 2 or 3 days of that. Yeah, Pranav says still lots of ash. Um, yeah, but I hope you've all been doing well, um, despite everything that's going on, really. But yeah, okay, so on Wednesday, we left off with a bunch of orange lines. And then after we finished, I went and fixed the code a little bit. Let's take a look at what we did. And so actually, afterwards, I went and, so this part is a little bit new. So I went and basically for each of the actors, previously, the data that we imported in, for each of the movies, it only had the movie ID and the cast ID, or the credit ID, and now we've gone and basically we're now referencing the whole movie object with all of the movie data. For each of the actors and like the array of movies they have. And also we took out any of the movies for each of the actors. We took out any movies that I don't know why I keep saying we. I because we didn't do this together. I took out the filter. Sorry, I took out any of the movies that didn't have a release date, which because I think that usually means that it's sometime in the future. And then for each of the movies, what I did is I turned them, I filtered out any movies that didn't have a release date again. And I basically made the dates, release dates that used to be strings. I made it into a new JavaScript date object. And then because I did a dot map, it made my movies object that I loaded in into a movies array so that down here, I can just pass in that movies array into my min-max date and min-max budget. And then I also, so then once I did that, once I basically, for each of the actors, I pointed to the actual movie objects, and then I filtered and sorted by them. Then it seemed to have worked correctly, and then we were able to get this right here, and then I just used a instead of because when it was all orange, I couldn't tell who was who, so then I used just a HSL, which stands for hue, saturation, and lightness. And then this is definitely not the end answer, but there's just for hue, I just basically had it like go based on I calculated a hue based on the index of that particular actor or actress, and then 50% saturation and 50% lightness. This is not the final, like what we're gonna do as like the final solution. I just wanted to do that as like a quick temporary solution. So today I was thinking about, because this is still like it's better than the orange lines that we had last time, but I wanted to, but it's still not, you still can't see that much. And I was a little bit afraid of this because in our data analysis, we saw that like, there was a lot of actors and actresses that had there was a lot of movies that were missing budget data. So I was afraid that it was going to be pretty messy, but this is messier than I was hoping for. So what I think, there was a few things that I thought we could do during this stream. Also, but then I did want to point out, so because the x-axis is date, and then the y-axis is budget, right here, this one, let me zoom in a little bit more. So this one where all of them merge, this one, I'm pretty certain is Crazy Rich Asians. This is the downside of like starting to like create custom visualizations with D3. Like none of the things that we were able to do in like a line or two in Vega Lite is available anymore. So like in Vega Lite, I could have just like written like tooltip, and then we can hover and see what this is. When we do D3 and View together, it's going to take a lot more work than that I'm frankly too lazy to do right now. But I think we can, it is a good guess that this is Crazy Rich Asians, which I think is also very interesting to see that like the budget for it relative to, some of these other ones is quite small, it seems. So I'm pretty excited to like put in once we've like untangled this mess, then we can put in like the revenue data for each of the movies and see what it looks like. So let me actually just start a bullet list of maybe some of the things that we want to try today. One of them being maybe we can do like filter to top 6 billing for the movie, and then let's filter to just US movies. And then there was, let's see, and then let's also, there was gonna be, let's kind of play around with the x-axis, because what you might have, what you might be able to see is that I think this might be the last decade, and there's like a very long, like this must be, I don't actually know, what this year is, but like there's like quite a long tail on this side until a lot of the movies start entering in around here. So then maybe like we can play around with the x-axis where we actually squish, a few of the earlier decades so that we can like expand out, maybe the last decade or last 2 decades so we can see it in like more detail. Or we might just like, for now, filter out anything like before the last 2 decades or something. So let's say like, filter movies to just last 2 decades. And then Gilliam says, welcome Billy. Ooh, I'm trying to figure out who Billy is, because there's no Billy in the handle. Twitch encouragement says, hey there, I'm here to encourage you to keep on streaming your doing. Oh, that's so sweet, thank you. That's so sweet. Which is who code. I love your handle. Which is who code says, I've been here for 5 minutes and I'm already so inspired to spend time studying D3 this weekend. Awesome. That makes me super happy to hear. So, okay, so I get distracted way too easily. Filter movies to just last 2 decades, and then I think there was also, worst comes to worst, we can separate out each line into its own chart, so like its own narrower chart. So actually, I think I want to do it in this order, to try it in this order. So let's do that. Okay, so the very first thing we say we want to do is filter to just the US movies. So that I'm going to do, let's see, here I'm just going to say filter those that have dates. Oh, actually we don't need this line anymore because we did it up here. So the way that I think about like how I organize my code in Vue is I do like kind of in created, once the Vue component is created, I load my raw data, and then I do a little bit of like light cleaning or processing with it. And these are the things that like I couldn't do beforehand. Like anything that I can do or calculate beforehand, I'll usually do it and like have that be saved as part of like the JSON or CSV file. But some of these things, like, you know, connecting, like pointing to objects or making a JavaScript date, these are things I can't like pre-process ahead of time. So anything like that, I'll put in this created. And then usually, actually, this is a little bit different from my usual, because usually I would have created a component for this chart. And then within that component, I'll do any sort of like data calculation to for getting it ready to like render. I'll do that in this, like, I'll call it calculate data. So it's bothering me a little bit that I, for some reason, didn't create a new component last week. I think I was like, let's just get something on the screen. Eventually I will probably pull this code out into like another component and call it like line chart or something like that. I'm very bad at naming. But so here what we've done is, yes, we've looped through each actor. So here we're going to filter it by just the movies that have production countries that are the US. So if I remember correctly, but let me not rely on that. Let me just console.log.d.movies, and then I think I can just do underscore includes. So if the movie's production countries includes the US, or maybe they call it, I think they have it as, or maybe I can, hold on. Let's take a look at these. So these are the movies. Cool. So I have countries and so I'm going to, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say if okay, I'm going to chain this array of countries, and then I'm going to get from the array of countries just the ISO attribute, and then I say includes US. So if that array includes the US, then keep it. Yes, I believe that should work. And just to see it works. If it works, then let's see. Let me say console.log d.movies and then dots. Ooh, already so interesting. Okay. So yeah, let's see. Countries. Whoa, this one has no countries. What? India. And the last one is the Crazy Rich Asians one. So yeah, this is working because I ended up with only one of the movies. So it's, yeah, so this is only one of the movies and it's Crazy Rich Asians. So I believe this is working. So already different from what we had before. Because I think it's cleaned it up quite a bit. Interesting shapes. Let me take a look at, I don't think the curve that I'm using is very good. Okay, so, and what I mean by that is, let me see. So I can do curves. Yeah, so this is how we can specify like how D3 like draws the curves between the points. Right now I'm using something called Count More ROM, but I don't know if I quite like it so much. Yeah, so this is what I'm using. Paranoid Polaroid says when there are no dynamic filters, it's probably best to only filter once for better performance. Avoid going over the JSON twice. Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think, although it really depends on the use case. So the reason why I'm doing two filters, one's here and one's up there, is because I predict that I'll actually be using these data sets in other ways, in other visualization. That's why I want to keep like the original data set as close as although to be fair, you know what, I could have filtered I could have filtered the like JSON files in terms of whether they have the release dates or not, but I also don't know how I might use it with the visualizations I have. So I try not to do any like too like, I feel like there's a fine balance of over optimizing too early. So I try to like just do it the easiest way possible first, and then once I have like the visualizations I want and the project looking the way I want, then I go back in and try and optimize. Just because I've been like burned so many times from like over optimizing too early. Anna, hi Anna, thanks for joining the chat today too. Gilliam says, agreed, better to keep a little too much in the stored data and filter on the fly. Yeah, especially because like I know that I know that I'm pretty concerned about performance. But for example, this movies array I think is only a few hundred objects. And that in the overall scheme of things, with the browser as it currently is, doesn't actually take that long. Although for the browser as it currently is with most of our phones, the way it currently is in developed countries. There is a whole other conversation of like how should we do visualizations for like slower mobile phones or like slower like data connections. That is a difficult topic that I don't fully know how to answer, just because sometimes when data sets are super large, um, yeah. Anyways, um, Paranoid Polaroid says that's fair. Thank you. Pranav says hi, Emma. Gilliam, do you hear my laptop? Is that what's happening? Is that why you use the remote? Um, yeah, boy, Ryan JS has a question, a React question. I haven't used React in a while, so I would love if someone in the chat can answer the question. How one can limit the amount of object one maps through in React, please. Although I do feel like this is not a React specific question. But I feel like we have enough experts in the chat to be able to answer this question. So I'm going to choose a curve. And Gilliam says that the burning laptop emote is the de facto optimization emote now. Fair enough. I like that. Okay. Monotone X. But natural. That does not look natural to me. Okay. These are the kind of like little decisions that just eat up most of my time. I think there's like a phrase that's like, you do 80% of the work in 20, or like it's something like 80%, you do 80% of the visible work in like 20% of the time, and then you do like 20% of the work in like 80% of the time, or like something like that. And I love that because it's so true, because for visualization, because like you can get the general shape of the visualization pretty fast and looks like it takes you 80% there, but then the last 20% of like tweaks and like making it look good and then like nudging pixels is like, it always takes the longest amount of time. And this is what I end up just like spending so much of my time on, where I'm just like, what kind of curve should I use? Yeah, it's not like it looked that different. So I don't know why I did that. Yeah, the 80-20 rule applies any way you say it, Gilliam says. Okay, so actually, we just did the first part. Let me like make this a little bit smaller so that we can see this a little bit better. Yeah, this is fun. I'm already enjoying this. You can also see, oh, I want to know, like, I want to have a better way to like, if people were like co-starring, it's like, if you can see this one, this overlap, this is like a tiny thing. Yeah, so this, I think the two people overlapped, and that's so interesting to see too. But it's like not 100% clear right now because like you can't see this person's. So this is them starring in the same movie. That's so easy. Like that would be really interesting to show also. Visually show co-stars in the same movie, which makes me which reminds me of Nadi's what's it called? So I really liked the way that Nadi did. Let's see, so this is her project about different cultures and constellations and or constellations in different cultures, which I really love. And then this is how she showed like overlapping cultures. So if two different cultures use the exact same star and they're in like one of their constellations, she kind of broke it up in that way. So like Beetlejuice was one of her examples because all of these different cultures used it in their constellation. So I really like the way she did this. So I might consider something similar for visually show co-stars in the same, or yeah, that appear in the same movie. Okay, so next, let's just concentrate on, actually, you know what? Let's give us some context and let's add in like an axis so that we can see like what years these are. So let's see. I'm going to actually just commit this. So what I did there was filter movies by those made in US. Okay, now we're going to do, for axes, we're going to use D3 axis. And to do that, let's create a group element. Yeah, so let's create a group element. And we're going to give it a reference, and we're going to call it x-axis. And then down where when the view component gets mounted, so all of the DOM elements get mounted, let's, do we need to do that? Let me remember. Okay, so where this happens, let's go and, okay, let me not do that just yet. Let me say render axis. Let me go and create that function. And let's say, how should I do this? Okay, so actually, when the component is created, go and create D3 axis bottom instance. And then, yeah, and then that's all we need for now. And then when the data has loaded, then we're gonna render axis, and for that axis we're going to need the x scale. So for each axis we want to pass it the scale that they're going to use, so this.x scale, and then we're going to select using D3 the group elements that we just created and named it x-axis, and then call this x-axis. Hope I remember this correctly. There's going to be a race condition because D3 is expecting this group element to exist in the DOM. So there's going to be a race condition where if the data is loaded, so if this function is triggered before the DOM has finished, or before everything has finished loading in the DOM, then the render axis is not going to work. So what I'm going to do is say that when everything in this component has been loaded into the DOM, so when it's been mounted, then I want to calculate data. And the reason why we need to calculate data is because we need the x scale to already exist, and that happens in calculate data. And then let's render the axis again, and here I only want to calculate the data if the data has been loaded. I don't know if this is the most efficient way to do this, but yeah, so there we go, and hopefully that renders the axes. Yes, it does. Awesome. So it does that right here, and actually, you know what? I think I'm going to do this. So I'm going to tell the x scale, which is a scale time, to dot nice on the domain, and what that does is it basically makes the yeah, there we go. So 1960 to 2025. So it like basically kind of like rounds it in like a nice way. um, and let's see. And then I need to make sure that that gets translated to the bottom. So I'm gonna in the HTML template say that I want to translate the this group down to where the bottom of this. So there's no horizontal translation, just vertical translation, and I want to translate down the height amount. And I'm going to say, so the reason why we don't see it anymore is because I've translated it down by the height, and that means that the axis is going to be below the kind of like SVG viewport. And so I'm just going to say that for this SVG, that actually no, I'll just say minus margin dot bottom. And because I'm using margin dot bottom in the template, I need to also make sure that this margin is registered to the data with view. So yes. Okay, cool. Ooh, fun. Yeah, you know what? I'm not a fan of the curves, of the way that the curves are being calculated between each of these lines. But not 100% a fan. But I guess it'll be fine for now. It's like, for example, because this curve, yeah, like for example, some of these curves are showing up underneath, underneath this point, and I'm not a fan of that. Anyways, okay, so that gives it a lot of really nice context. One of the things I really want to try is see if I can use the D3 timescale and then like give it multiple different, like right now we give it 2 domains, so this evaluates to, so I wonder, I want to like, instead of just giving it a minimum and maximum, I want to be able to like give it like a minimum and like a midpoint and then like a maximum. So let me try that. Oh, Yabor Ryan James, I think, asks, are you using D3 and DCJS? I'm only using D3. I'm using D3, and I'm using Vue. Yes, I'm using D3 and Vue together. Oh, Gilliam has already answered this for me. D3, yes. Not sure about DC. Looks like D3 shape. Yes, it is. Retranslate with negative margin. What were you going to say first? Oh yeah, I just like stopped myself. I was thinking of making the SVG, studying the CSS for the SVG as visibility none. So let me show how that would have worked out instead. Instead of using margin.bottom, if I went to the CSS part and I said SVG overflow visibility, overflow visible. And then that would mean that even though this is outside of the SVG viewport, I can still see it. So that was the other thing I was thinking about doing. Alternatively, I think another good thing is to bring this up and then kind of make it the baseline for the Crazy Rich Asians movie. So yeah, let me try doing that. Actually, another thing I was thinking about is like, filling this with area, D3 area. But that might, I wonder if that would be interesting or confusing. Let me try that. So with D3 area, instead of saying line gen, I'm going to say area, and then I'm going to say that dot y0 is height minus margin dot bottom. All right, let's try and see how this will look. That did not. D3 dot area. That's what it is, right? D3 shape. Thanks for explaining your handle. Is it Rian then? Your boy Rian. Is it JS like JavaScript? Or is that your name? And I'm really sorry. Let me use areas. So this is what it would look like, and theoretically speaking, like I should x0. Yeah, so 0 y1. I feel like I should have been able to do dot y0 to specify the base. So I'm confused as to why you won't let me do that. Because right now I'm filling, or I'm doing a stroke instead of a fill. Ooh. That was not helpful. Although that is interesting, whatever that is. What is that? No idea what that is. Okay, so that's not what we were looking for. Let's undo everything. It was an interesting thought experiment. Yep, Gilliam's like, isn't there one that's going backwards? Yeah, there is. And I have no idea what's happening to that one. But Pranav says might be from the path. Yeah, like it might be that it's only 2. I think. No, because it should actually, even if it's, so I was thinking maybe it's that it's 1 point and then another point, and then it like is drawing an arc and then filling in between. But it should actually, because I told it like to fill below down to like, yeah, down to this point, like it should have filled below it instead of above it. And I wonder if that's an SVG thing of like, yeah, that was that was a weird one. I wonder why it happened like that. Yeah. So as a closed path, so like SVG itself is seeing these 2 points. Actually, can you see what I'm drawing? Yeah. Okay. So it's like seeing this point, and then it's drawing a line between them because there's a command to, but then it's trying to close the path this way. But like D3 should know, and D3 should be like, okay, like point 1, point 2, and then draw another point going down to the baseline, because Y0 is supposed to be the baseline. So, ooh, I have such an interesting idea. Okay, now, stop getting distracted by the shape of all of this when you haven't even gotten something that's like readable. Okay, stop getting so distracted. All right. So what we're going to do is, I feel like what's potentially interesting is, man, these are so interesting. Okay, is to have between 1960 and maybe 2000 be like squished, and then and then have from 2000 to 2025 to be wider. So let's try that. So instead of min max date, I'm going to say min date max date. Don't know if this is going to work. Min date max date, and then let's create a new date in the middle for, never tested this. I feel like it should work, maybe. For, we said 2000, right? So let's say 1/1/2020. And then let's have the midpoint. Let's have 2020. 2000. Let's have 2000 be mapped like maybe a quarter of the way. So like maybe we'll do 0.25 times width. Does that work? Whoa! Did you see that? Good job, D3. Oh my god. Okay, that was really exciting. Okay, so look. So the first 40 years we've like squished. And then, whoa, that was so cool. I did not expect D3 to do. I feel like I've read this somewhere and I've never tried. And I wasn't sure if it would work with scale time, but that was so cool that it worked. Space Cowboy, I will take that as a compliment. FB Bommel says there's more than one actually. Yeah, there was, I think you're right. There's some that looks really weird. Some of these lines do look really weird. So, all right. But let me just enjoy my. Let me enjoy my. Yeah. That was cool. Okay, that was cool. I didn't expect that to work. I'm so annoyed by how these curves are being drawn. Watch me just go and draw these curves myself. I really don't want to have to make a custom curve. You know what? How about... No, I'm not going to make a custom curve. I am not going to do that. No, that is not going to happen. Alright, let's try this monotone one. Oh yeah, I think this is... Yeah, I actually like this more. I feel like it's a more accurate representation of the data. Ooh. It's quite fun. Okay, so now that we have that, let's commit it. And actually, let me do height minus margin dot bottom. And then I'm going to take out this SVG overflow. And, okay, so this one is what do? We filtered. Did we filter? Wait, no. Okay, so we created an x-axis. Passed in 3 dates to x scale. Sure. That's what we'll call it. Green Pranav said, are you specifying the endpoint? So D3 with D3 area should be specifying the endpoint for me. That's why I feel quite confused. I'm going to try something else right now, actually. Hold on. If you don't specify the endpoint, the curve draw a line from the last point to the beginning. Yeah, you're right, Pranav. But the reason why I'm surprised is because really, like, D3 should be specifying this for me, so I don't know why it's not. Let me go back to the curve. We're actually, okay, so yes, let me try the curve again. Area dot y0 And I'm going to say height minus margin dot bottom. And here I'm going to say stroke is color, and actually let me also do fill is d dot color, and let's say that the fill opacity is 0.25. Let's do that. Actually now they look correct, right? Now none of them are I think none of them are looking I feel like that now looks these all look reasonable, I think. Yeah, I think so, right? I'm going to try something else right now, which is I'm going to bring the baseline up to this one where Crazy Rich Asians is, and then I'm going to, and that way, I think it'll be fun because we'll be able to see some of these curves go above and some below. So that should be interesting, if I'm theorizing correctly. So let's figure out what the baseline is. So call it baseline, and let's just call it 0 for now. Actually, maybe I'll call it y0. Yeah, let's call it y0. And then in calculate data, I want to figure out y0. And the way that I'm going to do it is to find the movie Crazy Rich Asians. Yes, okay. So find y0, which is Crazy Rich Asians budget. So this dot y0 is equal to y scale, and then pass in dot find. That bothers me. Const CRA is equal to find movies, and the title is no. We know the ID. Yeah. Okay. So let's use that ID. d.id is equal to, and then pass in CRA's budget. Console.log this.y0, and then let's pass in this.y0. See what happens. Ooh, the console logs. Whoa. Wait, hold on. Let me take out some console logs. All right, I'm gonna take out this console log. Let me also bring the x-axis up to y0. Why aren't you at y0? That is not what I was expecting. And Altern, I think. Altern asks, why is there a kind of knot around 2018? And Gilliam answers this. Yeah, so this knot should be Crazy Rich Asians. And observing that knot was kind of the premise of the whole project. Yeah, so this should be CRA. Though, wow, I was really zoomed in. Okay. Why aren't you going all the way to that knot? What is happening? Translating you. Okay, let's see what happens if I don't translate you at all. Hold on. Okay. Right. Okay, so they all seem to think that y0 is right here, which it's not. Okay. Wow. 17 million budget. Can you believe 17 million is only down here? Actually, hold on. Scale. I think I used, yeah, scale linear. Okay. Let's try. Why aren't you? Why aren't you where I expect you to be? Why aren't you up here? Very interesting. Okay, think. I found the movie. Oh, thank you so much for explaining, Gillian. So the reason why what? The reason why it's not, the baseline isn't in the correct place is because we found the wrong oh, okay, I think I know what happened. We have found the wrong movie. So we found Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which also great movie. I haven't watched it in so long. Actually, when I entered college, that was the movie that they sent all of us incoming freshmen. Like our university sent it to us, so that we would have a common topic of discussion with our new classmates, schoolmates. This is a very interesting program to send all of incoming freshmen a movie so that you have at least one thing you can talk about, which we never did. None of us were like, so did you watch the assigned watching of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon? So what did you think of that movie? That was not a conversation I ever had as a freshman, but appreciated the thought. Anyways, let's see. 455207. Yeah, it matches. So that means that I guess that means that this is not the ID. And I am confused. So that is not the ID. Okay, so let's go and find the ID for Crazy Rich Asians. Yeah, big old Control F is what I'll probably do. Carrots and pizza, thank you so much for asking. We are thankfully doing fine. The only way that it's affecting us is that we can't really go outside because it's so ashy and smoky, and we can't really open the windows, which is fine. It is a very, very small inconvenience to be having. But yeah, thank you for asking. I think there's a lot of other people in California that have been affected much, much more severely. Yeah, that was a pretty obvious statement. Sorry. Well, look, we have the right idea of what is going on my data set. Data set, why are you insisting that? What is going on with my data set? Movies. What? What? What a weird. So there's only this first one says it's the same 455207. 455207. So down here. And we also have 455207 here. So somewhere along the way, only Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon got overwritten with an ID. So let's see if that happened in here where we originally got the data set. No, so here it's fine. Let's take a look. What an interesting thing that's happening. Movies.json. Anna says, that's interesting. I've never heard of a college assigning a movie to students. Yeah, isn't it? And not only did they assign the movie, they actually sent us the DVD. I think I still have it somewhere. So it was like, yeah. Let's see. Actually, even here, the ID says 146. So I'm doing something in my code. But, okay, so let's take a look at when it's loaded. What does it look like? Laptop, hang on. Oh my god, it's 3:10. Gilliam says, you were probably right. What did I do? Where did I do? Oh my god, you're so right. Thank you, Gilliam. Silly me! You're right. Alright. Thank you for catching that bug. Yeah, good eye on all of them. Ah, you're right. Sorry. You're right. I'll do that. Yeah, great catch, Gilliam. Yeah, so, I always like the triple equal because, I don't know, and this habit just got like ingrained in me in one of my past jobs, and because it is a quote unquote stricter equal. But yes, you're right, the type wouldn't match. So usually I actually would do it like, oops, I'd probably do it actually this way so that the type would match. Okay. Now that worked. It is not pretty. And actually, let me, yes, thank you everyone for your help. And let me go and update this part. Ooh. Okay, so I feel like this is quite interesting what's happening. But the problem is that because there's so many of them, we can't see much. So let me try filtering by the top 6 build actors. And you know what? I think I'm going to commit to the area. So let me just rename this to AreaGen. And here I'll use AreaGen. Does that work? Cannot read budget as undefined. I think we're okay now. Let me remove the console log. Has the console log been removed? Yes, it has been. Yeah, so this not is a CRA, not the tiger. Ooh, hi Jerry Moore. Jerry Moore says, "Get it, girl." Thank you. So I don't know if that's referencing the Bubble Sword Zines, Get It Girl which I love. That is Amy's work. For those that haven't seen it, highly recommend Bubble Sword Zines. Zines about computer science, written for people ages 8 and up, and it essentially distills pretty complex computer science topics into like really fun zines. And actually, a lot of really beautiful kind of, what's the word? Really beautiful clothes also. I don't know why it took me so long to remember the word clothes. And one of the first ones that was released in terms of shirts was Gift Girl. So yeah, this one. Actually, I really love this sweatshirt. I don't think I ever was able to get it before it sold out. Yeah, I love Amy's work. Yeah. Anyways, that was tangent again. I think I was in the middle of commuting this. I think. Yes. Okay. So, use area instead of 9. And then, let's try getting just the top 6. So here, what I'll do is chain actors, and then I'm going to filter them by, actually I think I can just do take 6, I think, because they should be already sorted. Oops. They should already be sorted by their bill order. Let me confirm that. There's 37 of them. Yeah, they're already sorted by their bill order. So now, looks like this. Still pretty confusing to look at because of all of the overlap. I also really do like the overlap though. What should we do? What should we do? Okay, I'm gonna change my mind again. Let us go back to the line generator really quickly and see if that's easier to see. Fill none. Fill none. What do we think? Do we prefer the line or do we prefer the area chart? I think maybe I'll use the area chart and then separate them out into separate them out into like a small multiple, maybe? Yeah, Gilliam says the area looked fine to me. The thing about the area chart was that it was quite hard to read, but I think that would be the same regardless if it's an area chart or a line chart. So the last thing I'm going to do for the stream is to separate them out into their own charts. So let's see. Okay, so let me think about this. First of all, I'm going to make the height. Actually, let me undo all of the, let me make it go back to being an area chart. What? Oh. I don't know why that didn't save, but that's okay. I guess we'll do, yeah, sure. Fill, I'll have you go back to the color. And then let's make each of the heights a lot shorter. Maybe we'll do 150. Superposition was better visible. Can you elaborate on that, Gilliam? And then CBAQHQ asks what Lodash is used for. I use Lodash a lot in terms of like processing my data, just because I like being able to chain all of these commands. And so I think D3 offers quite a lot of similar commands, but I like Lodash for, yeah, mostly because I can chain. And hi Marco Dow, thank you for joining the chat. Okay, now, oh no, laptop has like become very angry with me. No, laptop, hang on, please load. Drawing that emote gave me such joy and continues to give me such joy. Okay, it finally drew, thank you. So let us do this. So we are going to create an SVG for each of the lines. Ooh. Ooh. This is actually kind of fun. Huh. Okay, so what this is showing us is, actually, I'm going to do it this way. And I'm going to translate sure. Translate all of our SVGs down. So let's see. So that means 0 is going to stay the same, or sorry, X is going to stay the same, but then I'm going to translate them down depending on their index. So index times height, and here I'm going to say lines dot length times height. And then I'm going to draw a straight line down where, oh wait, hold on. I just realized something. No, that's fine. Okay, I'm gonna draw a straight line down where Crazy Rich Asians is. So actually, maybe I'll take out the x-axis for now and just draw that straight. Yeah, I'll just try and draw the straight line down and then take off the x-axis for now. So I need to know x, let's call it x0 where the Crazy Rich Asians 0 is equal to x scale CRA.date. And then I should be able to draw a straight line down, so an SVG line where x1 and x2 is x1 is equal to the x0 we just defined, and x2 is that same x position, y1 is the top of the SVG and y2 is the bottom height. Oops. And let's give you a stroke of a light gray. Yes, a vertical marker at CRA. Oh, oops. Lines dot length times height. Yes. Ooh, this is fun. Ooh. Ooh. This is very fun. Okay. Because now we can see that a lot of the budgets after CRA have been less. Except for this one and this one. Yeah. Let me make this even smaller. Let me make it top 10 of them. So interesting! But then this is only purely budget, and we haven't included the revenue yet. But already so interesting. And we haven't included their bill order yet either. Altern says, I wish D3 visualizations could be unit tested. I agree. Yeah, I agree. Anna says, it's a fun emote. Thank you. SVG, Altern says SVG art. CVA says test task. Yes. Yeah. Well, actually, I think a lot of these actually mean that they don't have any data. So actually, I'm going to color them, these dots, gray if the data is, the budget data is missing. That's what I'll do, the last thing I'll do. So here what I've done is separate each actor into their own chart. And yeah, let's color them gray. So the dots, should I do that? How should I do that? If, okay, let's include the budget here, and if the dot, so here is, get the budget from here. So if there is a budget, then color, else use some gray, maybe a lighter gray. Maybe a white. And let's also give it a stroke of the color. Ah, look at that. This is fun. Huh. Huh. Oh, hello, near this says, I guess I'm just catching the end. We'll have to watch again when it hits YouTube. Hello, hi. Super happy you made it today too. Altern says, sorry, Psycho. What did I say? I don't remember what I just said. Gilliam says, yes, essentially screenshot once when it works and keep that to compare later reruns of the test. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, no, I missed. Oh. Wow, I missed a bunch of chat. Gilliam says, alternate they can to some extent with psychovisual difference. That's why alternate asked, sorry, psycho what? Near says, unit testing for D3, would that be a screenshot thing and you would need to get it working before the test will work? Yeah, Gilliam says, yes, essentially screenshot once when it works and keep that to compare later reruns of the test. Yeah, that's something back at my old job. We talked about that also as an option and never built it out because it's essentially a lot of work to build it out. So we never built it out. But that was I think the only solution we ever kind of came up with. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I think that was almost everything on the agenda for today. That was all of these things. We were very productive this Friday. Very proud. Yeah. There is definitely still not the best. But I feel like we're getting somewhere. I'm very proud of how this came out. Do now have to ask myself a question of do I want this to be a larger story or is it just like a one-off? I'm not sure yet, but I think I'll have a better idea once we put the revenue in there. And then Witches Who Code said, ooh, yeah, hello, near this. I've heard of this. It's coming for front-end development. Ooh, awesome. I didn't know that it's like very widely adopted now, because I guess the last time I was at a full-time job was like, and we were talking about this was like 5 years ago. So we always talked about it, but we were like, we don't have enough time in the sprint to do this. Yeah. But I think our QA folks always really wanted to implement that. But they also, yeah. Anyways, Gilliam says, I think it was coined by one of the Google 20% tools. Oh, in regards to psychovisual. It's meant to compare two images of the same size but with different file size so that you can see the point at which compression becomes an issue. Learned about it at that point anyway. Their tool is called Butterly. Okay, so I think that's it for today. I I really enjoyed this one. I think it's starting to come together in a very fun way. And I hope you enjoyed today's stream. And I hope you have a great weekend. And I will see you next Wednesday. Yeah. Thank you for joining. Bye bye.